Freedom of speech, Bo, is so important. Freedom of expression. I know you're more in line with like North Korea and people of that nature.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, to not
Historical.
allow freedom of expression. But Netflix, and the reason I bring this up is because of Tom Segura's new sketch comedy show. And he's a very prolific stand-up comedian, but he's a bunch of Netflix specials on there, and he has a very successful podcast, multiple podcasts. But his sketch comedy show is the most, for a lot of people, offensive, bizarre. It's called Bad Thoughts. And the premise is it's all his bad thoughts he's had over the years and made into highly produced, great cinematography. They look like feature films. There'll be a 6-minute sketch and it looks like a feature film. Great director. And Netflix, they're not like, ooh, you can't do that. I promise you, there's things in there, Bo, that you would love, but that also you were like, I can't believe they allowed him to do that.
I love that. I love that. No, I mean, I think that's truly, like we've talked before, like that's the definition of art, right? It's to challenge the status quo. It's like push back against the things that we're not supposed to talk about, not supposed to say. It does not help anyone in society to like police what other people are saying. And a lot of these things, like things get developed on the hate speech or violent speech, just because you disagree with people, it's not the same thing. And so I've heard the same thing about the show. And quite honestly, I could be more happy because I want more and more shows, movies coming out, pushing against the things that are supposed to be, the sacred cows, but they don't have to be, because honestly, we put these restrictions on ourselves. And it seems like comedians are the unafraid ones,
Right.
because they are generating the revenue themselves because of their brand. Whereas actors, for the most part, they're beholden to studio heads, and they're beholden to all these restrictions and regulations and all these things you have to do. You can't say this, you can't do this, you can't. And we're seeing it in TV, we're seeing it in films. It just feels suffocating. It seems like you're seeing a lot of the same stuff just rewrapped, but it's the exact same thing. So to see something like this come out, guns blazing, I couldn't be happier. I love it.
There are skits where even the things visually you're seeing, and it's a paid platform, I've never seen on a paid platform before.
That's
I'm
awesome.
not saying it's not porn, but it's like it's bizarre, it's funny. I think it's really funny, but I like because Segura was on with Rogan recently, and
Yeah,
Rogan
saw
was
that.
like, "How did you get this made?" And he goes, "Well, I didn't tell him everything I was going to do, but once it's made, they're like, sure, go ahead." Tim Dillon, another guy, his Netflix
Yeah.
specials and stuff. They're he thought that they would have some things like, don't put that in there. They're like, go ahead. It's
Yeah.
because either you like it or you don't like it. Now,
Right.
real quick, for example, Bo, like I'm really big into stand-up comedy, but
Yeah, me too.
like about 10 years ago, Seinfeld's like, I will never do another college campus because of college cancel culture. Chris Rock, comedy's not fun anymore. And then Netflix comes in and they're like, all right, let's invest in these tremendous stand-ups, talent out there.
Yeah.
And then they're paying like Dave Chappelle $40-50 million to do a couple specials. They paid Ricky Gervais $40 million to do his specials, and he, of course, is brash. Amy Schumer got $20 million. I mean, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and it's made a big difference. And then the primes and the other streaming platforms are like, oh, let's follow suit, which makes it where there's more freedom of expression. And it's not just comedy, but comedy is kind of that last bastion. I've heard like when society loses its sense of humor or not allowed to have a sense of humor, that's the downfall of society. It seems very simple, but
we got close to that. It feels like, I mean,
yes,
it's like during COVID, it got really, really, really close to that because it's all authoritarian. I mean, they were flagging stuff, taking stuff down that was even a conversation. And this is the thing with society, that if we haven't learned anything, when communication and a conversation about any topic is forbidden, that's an issue. You should be able to talk about everything. And the fact of, people getting, I'm not talking about, showing live terrorist, bombings or live execution. What I'm talking about is like a joke that may be offensive. It's like, well, don't watch it. You're a big boy, you're a big girl, don't watch it. You can't regulate what everyone thinks and says. And so kudos to Tom for like going out there, creating something that is going to challenge the status quo. And what they're going to find, and what I think studio heads are finding out, it's still a business. This isn't philanthropy. They're not trying to change the world like UNICEF, for example,
Right.
Red Cross. It's like, no, man, this is entertainment, and if you are bleeding money like so many studios are, you're looking to just blot the bullet hole and just stop the bleeding, just make some money back because they're all in so much debt that this seems to be, like you said, the bastion of light of like, hey, maybe we can go over here, we can be risky, or we can be funnier, and it's punk rock nowadays to challenge the status quo. It's not, and the status quo is you can't say anything that would offend anyone. It's like, well, that's impossible. You can't do it because someone come out of the woodwork, be offended about this, be offended about that. It's like, I think as a society we need to mature and not be so concerned with what other people think or what they say, but really yourself. If you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe to it. You don't have to watch it. It's okay. That's the freedom of we have.
Right. Like Book of Mormon musical, like South Park creators, I've read some of the dialogue and it's highly offensive to members of our church. I mean,
Sure.
to me, it's almost mean spirited, but you know what? I got free tickets to it and I go, I'm not going to go, but I don't care. But if you want to go, go, because I'll be at something that you think's offensive. And,
Right.
and I can't be a hypocrite when I'm laughing at watching South Park and they're making fun of everyone else. I'm laughing. When they make fun of us, I'm not. I have an issue with the Book of Mormon musical because it's like, when you read it, it's super. The way it's written, it goes beyond comedy to me. They have some sort of axe to grind with the church for some reason, but it gets to where it's mean spirited. But you know what? They can do it,
Right.
and there's an audience for it. If they want to be a part of that, I might not go. Just like you said, I can turn it off
Sure.
or whatever, but I don't have to go. And
That's what we've done in society until the last 10 years. You didn't like something, don't watch it.
Right,
But then you had these keyboard warriors, particularly right near COVID, when everyone was on the computer and able to espouse their, sewage of thought concerning everything that they think is offensive in the world. And so there's been this huge pendulum that's gone so far that's like pushed out a lot of the creatives because you can't take a risk, because if you take a risk and it offends someone, well, now you're a racist or you're a bigot or you're whatever, because this one person was offended. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That's the definition of the freedom we have, and that's
right.
the freedom of speech. It's not yelling fire in a crowded theater as everyone says. No, but you have to be able to express a particular comedic opinion. If they make fun of Book of Mormon, don't watch it. It doesn't take,
Yeah.
you don't have to watch everything. It's not everything is for everyone. But with that specific in South Park, it seems like when they find a sensitive topic, they'll drill down, and if they hit something like a nerve, they drill more and more and more and more, and that's how they've been doing it for so long. I can't even believe that Comedy Central still hosts that show because it's so crazy and over the top and potentially offensive, but that's network platform holding is still kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, and the Paramount Plus, and then they signed some huge deal with them over the course of the next 10 years, like $700 million deal to Trey Parker and Matt Stone to produce X number of films, X number of episodes. I mean, it's a whole bunch of different things, but it's like, because there's an appetite for that edgy humor and people want to laugh. We want to laugh. We want to be entertained.
The reason why that show's so successful, I think, is because they kept control of it the whole time. They haven't let the studio executives take control of it. And I think, going back to what I previously said, I think when you get 30 chefs in a kitchen making the same recipe, there's going to be problems, versus when you have a creative and allowing them their creative expression and not getting in the way of that, you're going to find success. And that's the reason why, like I said, so many things are not successful in the entertainment industry, and notoriously so anymore, that people are saying now is the new 90s film era, where it was like Tarantino, all these greats were making independents and then they were blowing up. They're saying you have to create your own thing in a way, because the studios are not going to give the reins over like they used to do, because they have so many people making decisions, and so much money has to be recouped, that now it's up to independent creators. If they have a thought that a studio would never touch, you have to find a way of making it yourself. I mean, we're in the throes of that with multiple things. Like you have to make it yourself. You have to find and connect pieces to it, because they don't go in for that anymore, which is a good thing, because I think it opens up the avenues for a lot of the creatives to come through with a different artistic expression, as long as everyone, in my opinion, can just say, if you don't like, you don't have to watch it. Not everything's for everyone, and get over it. Be an adult. Move on.
So credit to Ted Sarandos from Netflix, because he's been the spearhead for that. and he's gotten blowback. We're like, oh, Ricky Gervais said a trans joke, take it down. He's like, no, I'm not taking it down. That's he's first of all, he's joking. But also if we did that, we'd have nothing on there.
Right.
Because you can be offended by everything. We used to have a
Right.
character on our morning show called it was obviously a fake character called Offended Olivia. And she would write in and it'd be no matter what you say, you could be like, oh, Katie was talking about having a dog. My dog died last year. I'm offended. So and this is well before all this
That's what it is. It's like a joke. It's like being in first grade, and everyone's running and telling the teacher, Miss Smith, she took my crown. It's like, what are you doing? How can you function in the world where you're constantly looking to find something that would offend you, or something you try to get canceled or get taken down? It's like, just leave people alone. Just you'll be happier. You'll be happy. Listeners, you'll be happier with your life if you just leave people alone, do your own thing. You'll be happy.
And don't be a hypocrite, because there's things that you're laughing at or things you believe that you know is offensive to other people, but it's only when it's on you, then you're like, and it's such a small minority of people, but they can be so loud, and then it's like, so Netflix credit, and I think other people are following suit, and like you said,
I think Apple is gaining in a big way. They'll drop like mega starred shows and not even advertise it. Like once a month, you're like, what is this? And you're like, oh my God, there's Tom Hardy or whatever. It's like they have infinite money. They have IP. They're going to be a top dog, if not already number one, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. So I know you have been following the Diddy trial closely because you're worried that your name's going to be called out to testify.
I do have some names.
No, but
I had to write them down because there were so many names. I was like, so I started writing down some names. Like, this is nuts. It's easier now to say who isn't involved. Like, let's just list those people. Right. And everyone else is involved.
Who's not? I mean, Mike Myers, not that he was accused of doing anything wrong. Mike Myers from SNL in Wayne's World, during one of the, I think Cassie's testimony, or somebody's testimony, not Cassie, one of the testimonies was bringing up about how Mike Myers and P. Diddy were, but he didn't do anything wrong. But like, even Mike Myers is being dragged into this. Like, the last person you would think would be dragged into the P. Diddy trial.
Dude. Steve Harvey. He has been blackmailed for 25 years from Diddy over something.
Really?
And this just came out. Oh, you ever heard this? In the last day it came out. He has been in Diddy's pocket for 25 years. He's had blackmail on Steve Harvey. And this just came out in testimony like either today or yesterday. So okay, here's some other names. This one.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, everyone now today, if you listen to this, it's March 20th. You've heard about LeBron. You've heard about LeBron and Diddy. I'm sure you've heard that. Audio leaked from this stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled, I heard that. Nick Jonas. Again, this is all just bullshitting. We don't know. I'm just saying what a lot of alleges are, and for different reasons. Steve Harvey. Let's see, Usher. The dad from Family Matters. My childhood is ruined. The dad. See, are you really like what is going on? What is this?
Yeah, like that. He was doing that thing you do on your birthday. He was going down on P. Diddy, and people walked in and they're like, the dad from Family Matters. Now, he's openly gay, so that part's not shocking. But it's like the dad from Family Matters and P. Diddy.
Yeah, really? I think that's what it is. It's not even like you do homosexual acts. It's like, okay, great. It's all the power trip behind it all. Yeah. And it's all the manipulation behind it all. And of course, not even mention the physical abuse and the mental abuse and the allegations of minors. But that's what's illegal. It's not illegal to engage in these acts consensually. However, when you are coercing someone to get a job, i.e. Weinstein, which in my book, far be it for me to say, I think Weinstein is a choir boy compared to what seems from Diddy. Because it seems like Diddy stuff is just unraveling. And it's like pulling in everyone and all these horrific stories for decades going back, not to mention murder. So Weinstein didn't murder him, I don't think.
Yeah, it's like an old school mafia thing. It's he's being charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, money, there was some rumors that they were going to try to charge him with like exchanging arms, like arms trading illegally.
Yeah, and he had some illegal weaponry in his safe, that
Yeah.
full auto stuff that hold the trigger and it just keeps firing. This stuff you have to have a special license for. He didn't
Yeah.
have it. Yeah, drugs. And there's been speculation for so many years about him, killing Notorious B.I.G.
Right.
At this point, I think nothing would surprise me. The only thing would be surprise me if I was on a list. That'd be the only thing that would surprise me. I'd be like, I'd never been that.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
funny
know.
because our friend Jason Goodman that's on our morning show,
Yeah.
the morning show that I'm on, he did go to a Diddy party in like 2008 or 10. It was around the Super Bowl, but it was for Ciroc party, and he slipped and fell on the bridge and hurt his ankle, and he was so embarrassed because people had to like carry him at the time to a taxi, and he's like, there's like Russell Simmons, P. Diddy, all these people there, and he was like, he didn't
Saved
want
his life, dude.
Yeah, and I was like, "Did you slip on baby oil? What was the bridge thing?" He's like, "I don't know." But I was like, "I was not mentioning you were at Diddy's house. I would not mention that anymore, that you were at Diddy's house." But the Usher thing that is disturbing, and I want to get your take on this, Bo, is because I think there's reality and there's things that we say, I would do that, or I wouldn't do this, but then the reality sets in. So Usher and Neo, who are like the same person, except Usher's more famous, they sound the same. They both are terrific dancers, singers, but actually both decent actors. They testimony this week, just yesterday, came out that they were witnesses to P. Diddy beating Cassie, punching pregnant women in the stomach, or punching pregnant women and stuff. And they didn't say anything. They didn't report it. They're just like, so to me, this is where I come down on it, Bo.
Yeah,
if it's someone I don't know and I saw that, I'd call the police immediately. If I was on the street and some stranger was punching a woman, or vice versa, if a woman was punching a man and hurting someone, but let's just say, keep it like it is, I would call the police. But if it was like someone I knew really well, I would be like, hey, don't do that. But would I call the police? I think I should, but I don't know if I would.
Well, because these guys are as corrupt to the core as humanly possible.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we need to bring back public executions.
There we go.
I mean, how quickly would we dwindle away with some of this stuff? If we get you and you're found guilty, we're just going to firing squad, live television, prime time.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, there's got to be a recourse. But you know what? Maybe that's too good for him, because maybe that's giving him a scapegoat, a way out. Maybe it's like an eye for an eye. So it's like, whatever your charges are, this is the stuff that is going to be done to you by other inmates for the chance of having their time reduced. So they'll be more than adequate and more than excited about helping out to potentially get a year or two shaved off, just to make your life a living hell. And someone like that, someone who, if you abuse someone that is a female, animal, dog, child, that to me is the quickest way to get me to justify going to prison for murdering that person who was trying to hurt this innocent. That to me is like, that's it. Like there's nothing. I would rather be hit in the face with a baseball bat than to see a woman or a child slapped or whatever. Like, that to me is it, man. So,
but like,
lock them up.
I agree. Now, if somebody takes like a bag of cats and throws it in the pool, okay.
Well, it's cats, you said? Yeah.
Cats.
Can they swim?
No, they're going to die.
Maybe for a little bit. Here's the thing. Also, here's where I would think a little different about this. Okay, hear me out. If you're Usher and you see this, dude, you're in my pocket now. I got you. Because if you don't wire me 100 million, if you don't I just filmed this, you're done. And then reverse the tables, because I'm sure Usher's in his pocket, just like apparently everyone in the industry is in Diddy's pocket for some bizarre reason, which is still unknown.
And Diddy filmed all this stuff, so he's like, "Oh, you're going to say something? I'll release these videos of you doing who knows what."
That's what Epstein did. Yeah. It's like this level of blackmailing that people are so afraid they'll do something and then get caught in the moment, and then 20 years later it comes back to haunt them. But it seems like it's cancerous to the core, it seems, and I don't like I said, it'd be easier to list people who aren't involved at this point. It's just sickening.
Yeah, and so we'll see, and then
firing squad, firing squad.
I'm for the firing squad. The interesting thing, we were talking about it today, but it was that I found when the police came and raided his house and arrested him, Diddy was putting together gift bags or freak off packages himself. He had like baby oil, a drug mix that they thought was like cocaine, ketamine, and something else, and then some other stuff. He himself was getting freak off kits ready when they came in. Like, talk about getting caught red-handed. I mean, the freak offs aren't illegal except for the sex trafficking stuff, and so if there's
right, and the minors and stuff like that.
really?
But you don't have an assistant. You don't have an assistant. You probably make $1 billion a year. You don't have an assistant who can do this.
No, he did. Yeah, and then he said Cassie would be in charge of heating up the baby oil. It's just like, this is just the weirdest thing.
People think that like the ancient Romans were bad, right? And they think that they're barbaric. Dude, they were doing the same stuff that we're doing now that they were doing 2,000 years ago. And it's just like, I don't know that it's become more obvious to people because of social media, or it's so catchy in the news, so it gets talked about more and more. I'm convinced that this has been around for a long time, this kind of behavior, because this all goes back to power. My biggest thing is how hollow of a victory is it? For me, if you got there and you knew you had to do this to get there, because that's the only thing that separated you from the other 100,000 people who wanted the same thing, and you're just willing to do more, go further. In that way, not the talent, nothing to do with originality, nothing to do with being undeniable. It's just that you were willing to go far with this handler or this power broker in Hollywood, and then you're laying in bed at night thinking like, that's the reason. It feels so hollow, and that to me, I'm just speculating. That to me, I think it seems to be what Justin Bieber's going through. He's having like this mental battle with himself, seemingly, and the speculation about that. I don't know. It feel hollow. You know what I mean? Not to say that I wouldn't want to do a crime. I would do a crime. I've done crime. Have you done crime?
I do crime every day.
Well, I'm serious. Have you done crime? If you do any crime, what would it be? And not get caught.
Oh, murder.
Murder?
I have a short list of people I would like to murder.
Jeez, dude. I was saying
you said I get caught. Now I'm getting judged for it?
You said murder? I was thinking like bank robbery or like, going 200 miles an hour down the highway or something.
If you want to be weak about it.
That's not weak. I'm just not a psychopath.
That you would like to murder?
I don't. I really don't, dude. No, I swear I don't.
I think I know one that you maybe. No, but I mean, if you get away with it,
nothing. I wouldn't murder. Not murderer. No.
No, but like, I mean, yeah, if you want to just have money, if I get away with just getting robbing a bank for 30 million, yeah, that'd be my number one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, for me, the gratification of like the intensity and the adrenaline of robbing a bank at gunpoint, and everyone's and you're getting a bunch of cash and you're booking it out to Mexico, and you're like, I did. That would be much better than like just hollow boom, like I feel good now, like. That seems weird.
No, mine, I would strangle them with my bare hands. I'm not shooting anybody. Jeez.
Oh, man. All right, Jeffrey Dahmer. Don't eat them.
This is, for instance. Oh, I want to thank our new sponsor. Hold on one second.
All right. We got sponsors pouring in. New ones every week. We got new ones coming in next week, too. Excited. Hey, I recognize those. Nike Air Jordans, our new sponsor.
Yeah, Jordan.
Is that the ones you never wear that I got you?
Yep, but I was just proving to you, this is just for you, that I still have them, and they're clean.
Should sell them. You should sell them.
Well, you can money. They're a half size too small. I should probably wear them in, but Bo actually got those for me as a gift, and it was like, I think for my birthday, and I was like, shocked.
It's Christmas.
Oh, Christmas. And I was like, I love Jordans, and they're cool, and it's a cool color. It's the color of my sports podcast. Wink.
Wink.
But I still got them. I love them.
Well, good. You can pawn them if you want. I won't be offended. You never wear them, so I don't care.
Yeah, I'd never live that down if I sold them. I'd feel bad about it.
I would never know.
Yeah. Oh, my girlfriend's here. You want to talk about Bill Belichick? No.
Oh, back on this train. I think
we don't have to. We don't have to.
Everything's going to pale in comparison to Diddy. It's like,
sure.
Bill Belichick's engaged to some 20-year-old who kicks him in the nuts. It's like, I mean, that's just another Tuesday nowadays, man. It's nothing is shocking.
Well, what broke today is that they're officially engaged.
Yeah.
And it's like this dude, it's like, somebody was like, I hope they have a long, happy marriage. I'm like, she don't want that. She wants, let's be real. She wants to I'm not saying she wants him to die. I'm sorry I'm being so morbid, but like, she wouldn't be upset if he's at that age where that could happen.
Yeah.
Like she wants the money. It's clear. And he wants the hot girl. So, I mean, they have their exchange, And but
At least it's, like I said, consensual. You guys can do what you want to do. I'm totally fine with that, as long as you don't break any rules. But not so much for Diddy.
yeah,
Not so much for Diddy. I mean, he's like a demon. I mean, from everything I've heard, I had to like stop listening and hearing about it because just like this is so dark, man.
right.
How do you get to that point? And
Well,
we talked about it before.
did you see the movie Sound of Freedom? I can't remember if I asked you that before.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, when you watch that, and somehow that became political, it's about human sex trafficking.
Yeah,
Anyway,
underage sex trafficking.
they're like, oh, but the person who wrote it's religious. It's like, anyway, anyone that's fighting,
You have to be a Satanist to write anything. You know that.
That's right.
All right.
But when you're fighting against that, what are you saying? If you're fighting, like, you don't want that to come
out. Exactly. I would be even if I thought I didn't like it because the writer was religious, the director was religious, whatever. I wouldn't say anything because I kind of put you on a radar of like, why is this guy? It's like the guy who like proposed to change the age of consent down to 15. You'd be like, but the guy who proposed that's a pedo, man. What are you talking about? No, it's like, how can you be mad at someone for making a film that's an incredible movie about the sex trafficking that is a huge problem and very prominent in I think entertainment industry, and but people are they got mad at anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but when you watch that movie, to me, it's one of the more impactful movies I've ever seen. And then at the end, they would go through like the worldwide stats of slavery that's still going on, because sex trafficking is a form of slavery, but sex trafficking of adults and minors, it is in the 30, 40, 50, 100 million range plus. And so to me, it's just like, there's so much depravity that goes on.
Yeah.
And if you're an everyday good person, you don't even think it's real. And it's happening in every major city in America, every major city in the world, every country pretty much in the world. It's happening. It's just like, good Lord. Can you just like watch bad Netflix shows and laugh?
I think because people the depraved in our society, they don't fear the lash anymore because they've been somewhat protected and somewhat sheltered from being lumped in with homosexuality or lesbians. And I have many friends who are gay, and they're like, we hate that stuff. What are you talking about? Like that it's debaucherous to anyone. And so, but because they've been looped in somehow, and they tried to like scoot under the umbrella of that.
Right.
They haven't felt what the reality of the punishment should be for that kind of stuff, because the reality of the punishment for that kind of stuff really would be the public executions, the castrations, the anything. I mean, like that, because you have to. It's a cancer. And I was listening. I think it was Sean Ryan. He has a podcast, amazing podcast. He had someone on from the government who was talking about the amount of child pornography. This podcast really took a turn, didn't it? The amount of child pornography.
For the 700 Club now.
They exactly. It said like the amount of child pornography is like it's tens of millions of terabytes of child pornography, but that AI technology is now making it so that, and this is the guy saying, he said, if you're a parent and you have a child, don't ever post them on social media. The reason being is because not because someone's necessarily going to take that picture and use that picture, but that AI can actually generate a pornography film with your child's face. And it's so realistic with the AI tech now, you can't tell the difference. And so they're saying a lot. I get some crap about it because I post my little girls, but I always like stars or fish or whatever their face. I kind of saw that early on from some people that I admire in the industry and why they do it. Chris Pratt being one of them. And now it makes so much more sense. It's like you're just trying to protect, because there is no level of depth of darkness of depravity that some people I think can go to. And so I think for that, let's start this crusade to end all the child porn. This is what's
and then go back to the firing squad. And not after years, like right away.
That day, we're taking you out of court. We're going to have the camera set up, and we're going to do 10 of you at a time. So we can save ammo. Y'all just stand in a line so we can save ammo. And we're going to use one bullet to see how many we can go through. this is hyper violent. Probably gonna launch all, but it's okay. It's a real passion of mine. And it's something that I
can
would
tell.
go to bat
And
for.
you're going to get some people wrong. You're going to get some people wrong. There's going to be some innocent people that like, oh, sorry, we got the name wrong. But look, the overall good is better, you know.
I mean, if they're going to be found guilty enough for execution, they're going to have the evidence. Like, it's not going to be like, we have the same name as this guy. It's like, no, we got your computer, we got your signature, we got this, you know. I'd be willing to bet we'd probably be pretty accurate about that. I don't know. I mean, I think that the reins need to be tightened down on these kind of things because, you know, powerful people, as the saying goes, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So you get these people in the hierarchies of power and entertainment when everything's subjective. Everything is just dealer's choice because there's 10,000 people who do the exact same thing. I say all the time, everyone can be an actor. The trick is, how do you get paid and how can you do it consistently as a career? That's the challenge. It's not necessarily that you can't pretend. I think everyone can pretend. But I think the fact of you have to be able to make a career and decision of it. And then you have people, decision makers, power brokers, who can just like that, make it happen. And it's just right there. All you have to do is sign right here. And, you know, a few acts, you're in. So
what do I need to do to you to get into like a TV show or a movie?
You don't want to know.
Okay. Next
I'm
episode.
talking like baby oil massage to start.
No, oh.
3 hours on the feet.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I'd rather hang out with Diddy.
At least it'd be a little quicker, I would suppose.
All that time. Although the freak offs, they said it'd be 96 hours. It'd be 4 days in a row. Like the chafing alone.
What? That's inhuman.
Yeah.
Inhuman. That's maybe that's what it is. It's not even human. It's the only thing that's justifiable. He's not even human. It's just something else.
Maybe that's why all these rich people are going to space because like they've done everything and so they're just so bored. So it's like either I go to a Diddy party or freak off or I go to space. So I guess the space thing's pretty cool.
And it keeps everyone in line. It keeps everyone in line when you got blackmail on them.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. So you have given up all sovereignty entirely, permanently for X, Y, or Z. Yeah, the government does. I mean, of course, you know, they've done it for forever. I think any serious source of power will do that. And so, you know, I think that it's important to know who you are and whatever you do, don't go to a Diddy party or a Weinstein party.
I think we'll end it there. But don't go to a Weinstein or Diddy party.
Yeah, it's just not a good idea. There's a lot of bad juju right now. I mean, we have a great publicist. I don't think our publicist could get out of that kind of mess. Nanda would not be happy for listening to Nanda. He would not be happy if me and Jared are
right.
Diddy parties.
No, like you did what? You went to Diddy party after he was arrested? Like, how'd you do that? Like, I don't know.
If I was in a Diddy party, I mean, I'm not saying I would ever. If I was there and I knew what was going on, I'd make it my own personal vendetta to bury him that night. Just bury him that night. Like, we're gonna get done with this. There'll be a whole bunch of people there, but you're not gonna make it home, Diddy. I'm sorry, but I got my shot. This is it. I know you've been doing this stuff. I know, you know, it's your time to go to hell.
And with all the baby oil, you just have
that's where you're going, buddy.
You just have to have him fall and hit his head.
With him falling into hell's me a grease fire.
Yeah, I mean, all freaking A. Oh, and also in the test kits, or not test kits, the freak off kits he was making himself at this point with the drugs and the baby oil also had Astroglide in it, which I know you're very familiar with. All right.
Who isn't? Everyone was 18 at some point, Jared.
We've all experimented. All right, dude. Have a good one.
You too, guys. Latest.